Hey there again, sorry about that. But what I was saying was how individuals tend to lean toward greasier or more high calorie maintenance foods whenever night falls, as they are more susceptible and more, I could say, empty on their willpower and self control through the challenges or tribulations that were endured throughout the day. Through which that's why individuals may choose to binge or overall follow their goals oppositions in the nighttime more commonly. A visual that I find with great representation of this theory would be the following. So at first we can see this individual represents the beginning of the day, so a lot more fighting the opposition or urges. And as we progress through the day, our willpower starts to fall low, or self-control, you could say as well. And we sneak a couple, and then we ultimately plummet toward nightfall and just munch, munch, munch. Performing the goal's oppositions, literally putting your hand in the cookie jar and facing the consequences later. This visual really illustrates how ego depletion is typically expressed throughout different individuals. So how did this particular theory come into the picture of science? The origin study of this theory comes from three primary psychologists. Their name were Roy Baumeister, Mark Muravin, and Diane Tice. This study was published in the year 1998, and they all served as professional experts in this sort of topic of research, specifically from the psychology department at the University of Queensland. And their study was delivered through submitting a publication for other scientists to particularly read and elaborate further research into the topic, as this was a new concept that needed a lot more studying. But they were able to grab the overall gists of what particularly could go into this theory more deeper. And inside this publication, according to Is the Active Self a Limited Resource? These three psychologists specifically state the following, and this is what occurred in that study. So to begin, participants were individually challenged to solve an unsolvable puzzle. And before this initiative was made to engage, participants were split in their initial offerings prior to the study. So one portion of the participants received radishes and vegetable dishes. And why I put those who rejected was because they rejected the indulgent offering, was with chocolate and cookies. And those who accepted, of course, indulged in taking a free dessert. And so throughout this study, participants were viewed across their overall behavioral patterns in order for these experts to see the differences in their expressions. And throughout these reviews, those who accepted the chocolates and cookies seemed to portray more patience in solving the puzzle, while those who rejected the chocolates and cookies and consumed radishes and vegetable dishes, they expressed more impatience. And which brings us to point 3. Results included as follows. Individuals who indulged through the desserts were seen to withstand and hold out longer in attempting to generally solve the puzzle, while those who rejected the sweet treats were more enabled to forfeit and quit the challenge sooner, through which those who indulged were able to withstand and have more patience in such the solving of challenges. But ultimately, everybody had to give up because the puzzle was unsolvable. And this generally ties into the theory of ego depletion, as when we generally have to induce discipline in ourselves, we tend to lose willpower as we are constantly faced with either temptation, distraction, confusion, whether it be like weight loss, trying to stay away from certain foods that gravitate one's interests, or try to overall fight the urges. Ego depletion comes in and just makes us plummet and overall continue in a way that can be negative for us. As individuals in the study who indulged in unhealthy options were able to withstand longer as they were more satisfied with themselves. Rather, those who ate a healthier option were more susceptible to forfeiting and losing their patience as a whole. And then next, this is a story from my view. And an observation that I took that recently I experienced and ties into the theory of ego depletion. So on April 11, 2024, I worked as a server at El Paso Mexican restaurant for a 12-hour shift. And throughout the day, I, of course, engaged with different clients of different motives, backgrounds, and overall interests in the restaurant and what trying our food. And so typically, I noted in people who discussed me with their weight loss or overall dieting, their preferences in goals that they had in mind. They would initially come in with goals of healthier thoughts. So they would talk about salads, overall veggie options, and overall meals that would fall into their needs health-wise. And so I would, of course, provided them the menus, and they would look around, of course, the different illustrations of what we serve. And ultimately, what I saw was through them debating, fighting the urges, and overall seeing illustrations that were quite convincing, they would oftentimes lead into unhealthy consumption, which means they would generally result in choosing greasier foods, overall meals that oppose their health and weight loss plannings, through which it can be detrimental for one as they're trying to progress in their diet, but ultimately plummet and fall through these repetitive stumps in the road. Its relation to the theory? Well, people initially dedicate their mental energy in fighting their cravings and food urges, to which we wake up throughout the day, we try to plan ourselves and what we eat and consume and go with what is healthiest for us. But through fighting so many urges, temptations, and overall the oppositions coming face and face and normalized throughout the day, we ultimately fall with our battles of these conflicts within ourselves and feed the opposition and ultimately destroy our plan of progress in that goal or overall journey. To which that's pretty much the depiction of how ego depletion can play such a crucial role within our society. And here goes my reference for the origin study. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this really brought light into some personal battles you may face, and I really hope you found an interest in how this theory can play about in so many ways across our overall engagements in the world. Have a great night. Thank you.